Information is power.
What's up, everybody? This is the Information Man Show. I want to get into this crazy crap that's going on with the Trump administration. I'm telling you right now, everybody, Trump is a white nationalist. All of you that voted for Trump, all of you black conservatives, white folks, everybody out there, especially black folks who thought that this was the way to go, this man is crazy. He now wants to literally import white supremacists or white people from South Africa who think they are supreme. So he's importing the racists in under the act of them being refugees. Last time I checked, refugees are people who at one point in time had a country, no longer have a country because they've been persecuted. Now he's trying to say that white folks in South Africa, the very same white people who are the descendants and those still living that were involved in oppressing South Africans during the apartheid years. They locked Nelson Mandela up for half of his damn life. And now Trump is now calling them refugees. And guess what, black people? We've been wanting reparations. We've been fighting to get reparations for so long. Now he's bringing these white folks over here from South Africa who are going to come over here and bring their racism, their prejudice, all of the shit that they do in South Africa all these years. They're bringing it here with their kids, their family members. They're bringing it. It's if we don't have enough white supremacist ideologies running around American society today. We've got white folks out here who believe that they are superior to us. We even have black people. We see them on YouTube, the buck dancers, the raccoons, who will play and dance like Django Unchained Stephen and dance and buck for their white master, for their white daddy. In this case, that white daddy and that white master is Donald Trump. He's a complete white nationalist. He's a racist. I already knew this man was a racist based on his history, okay? He was involved in housing discrimination with his father, Fred Trump, who in 1921, do the research, was rocking and kicking it with the damn Ku Klux Klan, okay? The apple does not fall far from the tree, and Trump has been doing this. Now, for those of you out there that say, well, Trump is not racist, he's always saying things about black people that's favorable. That's part of his manipulation. Part of his manipulation, he's a con man from New York, from Queens, New York, and where he comes from in Queens is very racist back in the day where he came from, right? His goal is to manipulate you. Trump is a transactional figure. He'll engage with anybody, no matter what race they are, if they got money, if he can benefit from them. But in reality, he likes to play this game like he has no problem with black people, but in fact he does. He's a white nationalist. Y'all helped to put his ass in office, okay? Now, we know that white people in this country have been very concerned about their birth rates. Let me read this to you right here. Check this out, everybody. You're going to learn something on the Information Man Show when you come over here. The number of white births in the United States have decreased by 11.4% since 2008. According to a report from the BBC, this decline is larger than the drop in birth for racial and ethnic minorities, which has been at 3.2%, okay, during the same period. White births now account for less than half of the United States births, marking a significant demographic shift. This is what this is really all about, okay? I did a video on my channel about this. White people are not reproducing themselves. They are they're not able to reproduce. They don't have melanin at the high numbers that we have as black people. Europeans are really a minority in the world. And what's happening under the Donald Trump administration is that they realize, remember Public Enemy said, fear of a black planet? They realize that America is becoming more darker, more browner and darker, of my color, my skin tone, okay? And they are concerned about that. That's why they want the birth rates to go up. That's why, really, to be honest with you, why they wanted to stop abortions, because they're really concerned about white women aborting their babies. They don't care about black babies being aborted. That's just, it's a necessary evil for them to make sure that white babies don't get aborted because they're concerned about their genetic survival, just like Dr. Frances Welsing said to us in her ISIS papers about their concern for their population. And that's why Donald Trump.
See, people are called white or you're non-white. That's on the census. That's the classification. You see, that is the problem. The word white, when it refers to human beings, means genetic deficiency, mutation, genetic deficiency, inability to produce melanin pigment. It means tiny minority on the planet. You see, there's no way around it. It's like an elephant being in a room.
Trump wants to bring these folks over here to populate, but he's bringing folks over here who are oppressive, dictative to the people of South Africa. Let me tell you what they did, because he wants to paint these people out to be innocent, that they're being genocide by these South Africans. That's a lie and propaganda. Donald Trump lies every damn day past Sunday. Okay, let me let you know, this is what these people that they're bringing over here, right? He says, matter of fact, let me play this video of Donald Trump at a press conference where he goes on about how they are being oppressed, how they're being genocide, which is a lie, because that's all Trump does is lie. He wants to import more racist, white supremacist type who think they're superior to black folks and everyone else in the world, when we already got enough homegrown racists and white supremacist type. And check this out, everybody. The white supremacist ideology cannot work without there being those that are sympathetic to it, like your sellouts. You got them on YouTube, on social media right now, running their mouth to you. Why do you support these individuals? Check this video out right now.
Dozens of Afrikaners who claim discrimination in their home country are heading to the United States, where your administration is going to welcome them as refugees. Now, this comes as you've halted virtually all refugee admissions for people fleeing famine and war from countries like Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, we're supposed to have I guess a G20 meeting there or something, but we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of, but it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me, but white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people.
Okay, as you see, Donald Trump really believes that white people, these white Afrikaners as they're called, are being oppressed. This is what simply happened. Because of their oppression, South Africans are simply getting back what is theirs. Land that was stolen from them when these people came over, because most of them are Dutch. When they came over and they occupied, because they're occupiers, right? They were occupiers. Nobody invited their asses. They occupied space. They occupied land. Just like here in America, when black people are barbecuing, when we're minding our own business, we can't, then what happens? You have white folks that come around that want to get involved in what we're doing. Why are you guys doing that? Watching what we're doing. Always got something to say, like your Karens out there. Well, black folks in South Africa were minding their own business, and these Dutch come over there occupying, stealing land and what have you. And when they stole land, let me show you what they did. This is what the white South Africans did that Donald Trump's calling refugees. These people that he's brought over here now, they've come over here in planes. These are the same people who the older ones were around during the apartheid system to oppress South Africans, black South Africans, okay? And then you got the younger ones that are coming over here who benefited from what their ancestors did, and now Donald Trump's calling them refugees because in South Africa, they just passed in South Africa a law called the Extraditions Act 13 of the 2024. It was signed into law in South Africa early in 2025, allowing the government to seize property without compensation under specific circumstances, while it does not allow seizure of for them to be able to fight it. They won't be able to fight it because when they took land from the South Africans, they didn't give them any sort of money. They didn't give them any reparations or what have you, okay? Under special circumstances, while it does not allow seizure, the law permits the appropriation to the public interest to address historical injustices. So bottom line is, the white folks over there that have gotten their land taken from them, they got the land taken from them because this was land that was stolen when they were forcing themselves on black people in South Africa. Check this out. This is what the white South Africans that they're bringing over here, this is what their ancestors did, or what some of them were involved in, the older ones. They did forced removal of land. Millions of black South Africans were forcibly removed from their homes, their land, and relocated to designated homeland, often in impoverished areas. That was the camp embankments that they had out there, okay? They put them in the worst, just like they did the Native Americans in America, put them on the worst plot of land. Take the best land and give them the worst land. Didn't even give them land. And remember, you had South Africans that were poor living in shanty towns. Remember shanty towns that they had out there? A lot of them were designated as homeless because they became homeless when their property was taken from them. Last time I checked, I didn't hear about any South Africans out there being homeless. They've got more generational wealth than the general South African in South Africa. Black South African, I'm saying. The Afrikaners have more wealth in general. They often were impoverished and marginalized, right? And then this is another thing that happened. Violence, oppression, security forces, law enforcement agencies used violence to intimidate the people. Same thing the police do here in America. Ever since the police started as what? Bounty hunting, right? Bounty hunting black people that would escape from plantations, okay? Maintaining white minority rule. So Afrikaners are white folks out there, those Europeans, they're the minority in South Africa. They're pissed off because the tables have turned and now they're not in power. Same thing's happening here in America with Trump, the racist. That's right, he's a racist. Trump and his cronies have taken over the government. They want to change the narrative because they want to say that white people are losing. They want to keep us on the bottom while they stay on top. Particularly, Trump wants to enrich his billionaire rich cronies, right? Then turn around and say DEI, that black people represent DEI when it's white women that are benefiting from DEI. You see, the same playbook that South Africa was running with apartheid is the same playbook that they got from America. And Donald Trump is now trying to reverse engineer this shit by saying that the white South African are the ones that are being pillaged. Look, in South Africa, you do have farms and various people who own property that get robbed. You do have high violence, but guess what? It's been reported that both, let me just read this to you. Both South Africans who own land and farmland, they have been robbed, they have been harmed. Both ethnic groups have been harmed on one level or another. Donald Trump's talking about it's a genocide. He claims that there's a white genocide. It's been debunked, everybody. Check this out. There is no evidence, systematic evidence that's been put out there that there's been a target genocide of white South Africans. There's no data. You've had isolated situations where you've had black South Africans that have taken the land back from these white invaders that have been there for years in South Africa because it was land that was stolen from their people.
Tell the truth.
Okay, I'm not saying that there hasn't been, there's no violence at all, but there's no genocide going on. The claims of white genocide have been dismissed by South African courts as not real. So this is going as high as their courts in South Africa, and they're saying it's not real. This is just more examples of how Donald Trump lies. And y'all want to support this man? Shit. Not me. Never have.
If you're getting shot, what happened? What happened to this windscreen? There's a key. There's a key. 10-year-old. There's a key.
Okay. South Africa, high crime rates affect racial groups and focuses solely on white victims, ignores the broader context of violence of a violent country, violence in this country. So basically, violence is spread across the board in South Africa, not just targeting whites, but blacks are also victims of violence. They're victims of violence by white South Africans or Afrikaners. Okay, so things do happen, but to sit up here and act like these people are a refugee, that's some pure BS. Okay.
If you're getting shot, what happened? What happened to this windscreen? There's a key. There's a key. 10-year-old.
These people being imported into America, overstepping people who are actually real refugees who need help, shows you that Donald Trump is about white nationalism. He's about his own people. And so therefore, we should not be upset. We should not be intimidated to be for our people as much as he is for his people, okay? Because I want to go back to what I was saying about the violence. Another thing that they did in South Africa, these white South Africans that are coming over here, is that at one point in time, they legalized racial segregation, discrimination called apartheid laws, enforcing strict racial separation in all aspects of life, including where people could live, work, and who they could marry. It's the same shit they had here in America about who you could marry. Political disenfranchisement is what happened to the South Africans, the black South Africans. So now that the black South Africans are defining the country for themselves, because it's their country, the Dutch or these white Afrikaners, they're the ones that came in as invaders from the very get-go when you look at the history. So you got Donald Trump who's siding with people and saying that they're victims now when they were the biggest perpetrators of victimizing South Africans. This is some BS, y'all. And this is what Donald Trump is pushing. He's pushing white nationalism. He's a white supremacist himself. I don't care what anybody says. He has that ideology and behavior. Why will we import these people over here? Another thing that bothers me about this whole thing is I want to tell you, what are the South Africans getting? Let me read this to you. White South Africans have arrived in this country we call America. They are seen as U.S. refugees. They're going to be granted all these benefits, okay? All these benefits. They're going to be granted this, a pathway to citizenship, and are going to be eligible for government benefits. They're also going to receive support such as temporary housing, assistance with finding long-term employment. Don't we have people in this country who need employment? Don't we have black folks in here and people of the people who need employment and help? He's gonna help these races that he's bringing over here with their children, with their family, so that they can bring their South African brand of racism and white supremacy into America, as if we don't have enough of these kind of characters already here, homegrown in America. Wasn't it Trump that said there's very fine people out there when they had that incident out there in Charlottesville? And you had people fighting and there was a whole racial battle out there, and Trump sat up there and said, oh, there was very fine people on both sides. Then when Trump was told to disown the Proud Boys, he told all of them to stand down and to further notice, he's a white supremacist. He subscribes to it. He's the biggest lying president we've ever had in office, and he's up there with all the worst of them. This man is bringing these people over here, giving them food, shelter, giving them housing, asking Americans to help give them jobs. We don't even do that with people that's citizens here, particularly people who need help. He's asking American family members are being asked to help those without family connections are placed with local organizational support. That's our tax dollars that's paying for this crap. Everybody, that's our reparations money that's supposed to be used to help the plight of black people in this country who our ancestors worked hard to make something of themselves in this country and were disenfranchised. We had black communities that had been burned out of existence. And then he brings these individuals over here to the country. Once again, this is about their concern for their genetic survival, as Dr. Frances Welsing stated to us in her ISIS papers. This is what these people are concerned about. Do you want these grubby looking people coming over here? We already got enough of these grubby type. Look at this video right here, these grubby folks that they want to bring over here. Well, they've already brought some of them over here. I think he was talking about bringing 60 of them over here, but they're not going to stop at just 60. They're going to bring more. They're already in the country now, folks. Look at these grubby individuals right here.
Is aiming to bring the first group of white South Africans to the United States via its refugee program as soon as next week. 3 people familiar with the matter have said. It's a divisive move.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Especially given that Trump has been blocking refugee admissions from the rest of the world. 2 of the sources, who requested anonymity as they were sharing internal plans, said their aim is to fly the initial cohort of around 50 Afrikaners into Washington Dulles International Airport in Virginia.
It was like an answered prayer.
So as you can see, those are the kind of folks that he wants to bring over here to add to the collective racism and bullshit that we already have in American society. Okay? It's crazy. I don't know. Trump, the man is a piece of garbage. I'm telling you, the black South Africans had every right to make the law that they made. It was simply to right a wrong, because the land that these people have been living on and benefiting from economically was stolen from South Africans. So these ain't real refugees, these are criminals. And I remember watching a lot of videos, especially on YouTube, where you had these white farmers beating Africans up, taking trees, branches, and whipping them like they were back on a plantation. Donald Trump epitomized white supremacy ideology. They believe that they're better than us. They want everything. Once again, they're concerned about their genetic survival. So he wants to import more white folks over here. And check this out. Don't think that just because Trump's been going after these illegals and some of these guys who have criminal background that come from South America or across the border, don't think that it's just going to stop at that. Trump is coming after black folks too that are citizens, because they're talking about, is there a way for them to put domestic folks into those prisons in South America? Have you looked at Donald Trump's executive orders where he wants to flood more law enforcement into black communities and occupy us like a police state? Oh, it's coming. With that said, everybody, I hope you enjoy, well, not enjoy, but I hope that you understand my passion in this video, where I'm coming from, hit the bell notification, tell someone about the channel, share the video. This is what's happening. It's crazy. And these are the people who have just arrived over here now. What do you think about these people that's coming? They're bringing their kids over here. So now their kids, just like we talk about the people that come over from South America that were in Chicago, and we were saying how they were being put upon black people and hurting the resources that black people are fighting for. Well, have the same energy and fight for these white racist South Africans that are white South Africans that are already in the country, that's going to be sucking off the resources that we should be benefiting from. They should not be benefiting from it when they benefited for many, many years over what they did to the black South Africans. Now they want to play, they want to cry wolf, they want to cry victim because justice has been served in South Africa to take back which they have stolen. And now Trump wants to say that refugees bring them into the country because why? He wants to keep the country white. So when he says make America great again, everybody, he's talking about make America white again. This is the Information Man show. The Information Man signing off. Subscribe, hit the bell notification. I ain't playing with y'all. Take care.